This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. In this video, we'll be talking about 3 ways to upcycle your leftover frosting. It's broken down into steps so you can skip ahead, rewind, and rewatch as desired. If you're like us, at the end of a project, you've got leftover colors, and we do a lot of little projects and always end up with a lot of little amounts of various colors left over. So the question is, what do you do with these? And today we're going to talk about 3 ways that you can upcycle or reuse your leftover frosting colors. When you're thinking about dividing up your leftover colors, there's a couple of ways you can approach it. A lot of times, for me, it's just separating out individual colors and storing them individually in the appropriate sized containers. Storing a single color together, for example, for me today, my greens, might make sense if you have quite a bit of them. You can see I made several different shades over several projects really close together, so I've got quite a bit of green, enough to fill up its own container. For other colors where I have smaller amounts, like I only have a tiny bit of my orange and yellow, it might be good to group them together. If I put these together in a container, I'll still be able to make oranges and other colors from them, and I'm going to have less containers in my freezer, which is always a bonus. And when you think about doing this, think about picking things that are next to each other on the color wheel. They'll still allow you good range. Like I could store my blues and purples together and still make a wide range of purples as well. As far as storage goes, there's a lot of different options for containers, and you probably already have some great ones at home. So whether they're Tupperwares or things like our Chinese pint and quart containers, or if you're just going to use some nice freezer bags, you want to have something that you make sure you can store the appropriate amount and the appropriate size, because we don't want to take up too much space in our freezer. And that's one of the reasons why I like these. They come in a variety of different sizes, so the depths of the containers. The lids are universal, so I just have a big sleeve of these for all of my different sizes. And once the lid is on, they're nice and stackable. You just want to make sure that you've got things so that you can label them and date them so you know what everything is in your freezer. And that's the other reason I like the freezer bags. They'll lay flat if you put the frosting in there and smush it down, which means they don't take up a lot of space. They also come in a lot of sizes, and they've got that nice area on them that you can always write on your Sharpies, so you can always keep track of everything, which is fantastic. And any of these will work for you. And final note on storing your buttercreams, make sure you're following the guidelines for your individual recipes. A lot of ours, like our American style and our Swiss meringue, have a 2-month shelf life in the freezer. So you want to make sure you're not only labeling with the flavor of the buttercream, which my colored ones are typically vanilla, so it's not really important in terms of mixing the flavors, but most importantly, the date, so that you know when they're at the end of their shelf life, need to be pulled out and used up. Our first option for what to do with your leftover buttercream is color mixing. We're going to make new colors with the old colors. And we follow some kind of simple ideas when it comes to this. If the shade we have is light, we can make medium and then dark with that by adding more color. If you're starting with a more intense shade, you're going to be limited to darker shades when adding more color to it. And you can think about things like I can go with the same color, or a lot of times you can make different colors depending on what it is. And we're going to show you some examples of that in just a minute. The inverse of that is that if we have medium and dark shades, let's say we have a little bit of just maybe some black or a dark blue, and we want to make a lighter shade, we can take that little bit, add it into some white buttercream, and make lighter colors. And then there's the kind of fix-all for I don't know what to do, but especially if it's close to a holiday like Halloween, where anything you have can be made into really dark shades like black. So think things like black is a great catch-all for everything you don't know what to do with, but then there's other darker shades like really dark walnut browns, navy blues, kind of that midnight purple that's almost black. Those shades are really great for more intense colors that you want to cover up. A light red is really just a pink. So if we're adding more color, we're getting into the medium shade, which looks more like a true red. And then if we're adding even more color, we get to our dark and alternate shades. Now I've added more red and a little pink for a nice kind of cherry red, but there's a lot of dark reds in there too. So think things like maroon, burgundy, shades of wine. There's a lot of really deep shades of red that you can make that'll give you a lot of variety. But there's also ways to take it in other directions on the color wheel. If we add something like here, I added a little lemon to my red, and I get a nice bittersweet color or an orange-red shade. By adding some violet, I get a nice deep purple. So this gives you a lot of variety of what to do with those light pinks and medium tone reds. Next up is orange. We had a nice light orange color. It's kind of a creamsicle vibe. And by adding more orange color, we get a nice true orange, great for a lot of things. And going even further, if we add a little lemon, we get a nice yellow orange, kind of the color I think of as like tangerines. If we add a little red, we get that nice bittersweet color. So it takes that orange in those two directions on the color wheel closer to those primary colors. We can also do things like add some brown and get kind of that nice harvest pumpkin fall vibe to our oranges. So we still have some great variety in here, even though it's a secondary color and we can't make, say, other colors with it. We can inch our orange closer to other things on our color wheel. Yellow. For yellow, we started out with a nice light pastel color. We can add a little more of our yellow to get a deeper shade. And then we've got our dark and alternate colors. I made myself a nice shade of mustard by adding more of that lemon yellow and just a tiny hint of black. There's also a lot of other deep shades of yellow you can create as well. If we want to make some secondary colors with our yellow, we can add a little red, or in this case, some sunset orange to get an orange. Or we can add one of our blues. I added some royal to get a nice green. Green is the next color on our little color wheel. And we can go from a light green, add more color to get mediums, and from there we can do some of our dark shades. So think I added more lemon, royal, and sky to get a nice emerald green. I added just more royal and sky, so taking it towards the blue to get a nice teal shade. And likewise, I could add a lot more lemon proportionally if I wanted to, say, make a mossy shade. But I didn't do that example because you kind of get the idea from some of the other colors we've been talking about. Instead, I went with adding a little black to give me a nice kind of almost like fir tree, kind of reminds me of a spruce color, where it's not quite black, it's just a little green, and it's a really, really deep dark shade. Blue is up next. And we're following that same format. You can see I can go from really light pastel blues to mediums and then to darker shades. And so I did a nice dark royal blue here by adding extra royal, black, and purple. If I want to make a nice kind of like midnight purpley color, I added more purple and black. So it gives us that nice deep shade. It's a good color for Halloween. And if I want to make green, just adding more blue along with some yellow. And finally, for our color swatches from our color wheel, we have purple. You can see same format. If I start out with a light purple, it gives me lots of options. I can make medium shades or dark shades with that. And for dark, just adding more purple will do it. It'll give you a more intense purple color just because there's more food coloring in it. If I want to take it towards the red, I added a little pink and some red to mine to give myself a nice kind of berry color. And if I want to take it towards the blue, just adding more of my royal blue will work, but think there's also other shades of blue as well, so things like sky that might give it a little brightness instead of a little depth. And finally, we have our kind of catch-alls. Whether it's a light, medium, or dark shade, brown and black are a good option. So for black, I'm just adding coal black basically on top of any color, and it can cover up pretty much almost anything. And then for brown, I prefer using it with warm tones like yellow, orange, or red. And I made this one by just adding some Buckeye brown on top of some red I already had. And you can see it gives me a nice, rich, warm brown. I tend to stay away from cooler shades like blue, green, and purple when making browns because sometimes it can make the colors a little funky. So that's one thing to keep in mind with the browns. But these are a great one if you've got leftover color, it's in that medium to dark range, and you don't know what else to do with it. Especially around fall and Halloween. Sometimes if I have leftovers from my summer projects, this is what ends up happening with them. And it's a great catch-all and way to use up a lot of colors. Our second option for using up those extra bits of colored buttercream is to make new flavors with them. When I'm making colors, typically I'm using vanilla buttercream because I want that nice white or light cream colored base so I can make a lot of colors, which means then it's easy to make it into different flavors. So just take a minute, take stock of what you have on hand that you can use to flavor your buttercreams, and pick something that goes with that color and the flavor cake you're making. So there's some pretty obvious choices. You've got your extracts, your essences, things like fruit juice and zest. There's always some great powders like cocoa powder. I always keep some things like dragon fruit powder, blue pea, matcha on hand that are great. You can make slurries with all of these and add them into buttercream. There's stuff like instant coffee powder that you can dissolve and also add in. And then you've of course got your nut butters, and pistachio is having a bit of a moment. So for things like yellow, you've got some obvious choices like adding some lemon zest and juice. Blue, things like blueberry or your blue pea powder. Reds and pinks, any of those kinds of fruit like dragon fruit or any kind of red berry. You can also add things like jam, which is a great way to add some flavor. Orange, you can do some zest, some juice, a little extra vanilla and make a great creamsicle. Purple gives you options like ube and blackberry, and green is pretty good one. You have things like lime, mint, and also some really popular flavors as of late, like pistachio and matcha, giving you lots of options to upcycle some of that old leftover buttercream into new wonderful flavors to go inside your cakes. And our third option is for when all else fails, there's no colors or flavors you want to make with what you've got on hand, or maybe it's just really tiny bits that you don't want to waste space in your freezer storing, or you've got stuff in the freezer that's at its limit and you need to use up, is to practice with it. So make a bag, throw all those odd bits in it, and pull out some parchment and do some piping. Think about all those things you want to work on, improve and get better at. Maybe pull out some templates if you like those, and work through those and work on some skill practice. Whether it's on templates or on your flower nail, it's a good use of leftover frosting. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly supports our channel and helps us share more in-depth cake decorating lessons. Want to level up your skills? Our yearly membership has certificate programs from beginner and up. Learn more at cakedecorating school.com.